The Clio RS versus Fiesta ST debate has raged on for some time now, but there's now some added confusion to the subject because Ford has just announced its Mountune performance upgrade for the ST, and on paper, it looks damn impressive. Until this point, the Clio's argument was that despite being more expensive, it offered a 20 horsepower advantage over the Ford and a snazzy paddle-operated dual-clutch gearbox. The trouble was the ST actually had the same 177 foot-pounds of torque as the Clio, and it would appear that the internet still prefers manual transmissions. Well, for an extra £599 and a quick stop at your Ford dealer, you can now enjoy a Fiesta ST with, wait for it, 215 horsepower and 236 foot-pounds of torque. That's more than a Sierra Cosworth in a Fiesta, and it's still cheaper than the Clio. You'd have to say life is looking even trickier for the Renault. We've already driven these cars quite extensively on road and track. We know that the Clio, even with the Cup chassis fitted, is more supple on the road, but the Fiesta is firmer and more aggressive. What we don't know is which is fastest in a straight line, and this stuff matters. So time to find out. This is seconds out. Well, it's round one, isn't it? This is Clio versus Fiesta. It's very, very hot today. And I mean very, very hot. 30 degrees for us in the UK is a proper heat wave. So, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little drag race. I'm in the Sport Clio. Dan is in the ST with the Mountune kit. There's a suspicion that that's a right giant slayer, that is. Now, because I don't have to do anything, look, no hands, and I'm still beating a Fiesta, but look what happens. Once that thing starts to go, it's sort of above 65, 70 miles an hour, it just disappears. And it's cheaper. Yes. I know. It's compelling. It's compelling. The Clio first. Using its excellent launch control, the driver really has to do nothing but keep that right pedal buried and let the computer work its magic. The results are pretty good. On this slightly broken surface, it manages 60 in 6.8 seconds, which is a little slower than claimed, and 100 in 16.8 seconds. If you're old like me, you'll still think that anything that can run sub 20 to 100 is quite quick. The Fiesta feels way punchier though. Initial traction is so good you can just drive it off the line, but you have to feather the throttle at the top of first gear before snatching second as fast as the synchros will allow, and then the Fiesta just flies. It actually feels a good deal quicker than the Clio above 50 miles an hour, but the initial launch isn't quite as good, so the 0 to 60 is only 3/10 faster at 6.5 seconds. Again, slower than claimed. But from 60 to 100, the Fiesta rips 1.4 seconds from the Clio. It's just miles faster. I'm in a factory-warranted Super Mini that does 0 to 100 in 15.4 seconds. It's pretty silly, in a very good way. But there's more to it than that. There is really more to it than that. And everyone is hating on this Clio and lavishing praise on that Fiesta. And I just don't see the distinction as being as great as that. There are things that does that this does better. I really think that. I don't understand why everyone's out to get the Clio. Let's have a further think on that. We've already driven these two on road and track, so I don't want to cover the same ground twice. They're quite different in character actually, but I don't buy into the consensus that the Ford kills the Clio. I like how supple the Renault is on the road. Afterwards, the ST is very firm and the steering seems artificially heavy at times. Strangely, this Fiesta was much more mobile at the rear axle than the last one we drove, making it more fun. But the Clio is equally happy to oversteer on a trailing throttle. And as for the paddle shift, in normal mode I agree it's just a bit too slow, but in race mode you can really settle back and pretend you're driving a little Group N tarmac rally car. The more I drove it, the more I enjoyed it. I think its chassis is actually the better of the two for UK road driving. But the Fiesta is the bargain of the moment at £17,594. The cabin is a little bare next to the 20 grand Clio, but all the stuff that matters in a hot hatch is good enough, especially the seats. Renault has unrivaled heritage in this category. This new Clio is still a very good car, and if you want paddles, you'll love it. But the Fiesta is that rare product, which somehow seems to be just what people want now. It's fast, it has a manual gearbox, it's attractive, and most importantly, it's stunning value for money. Ford has nailed it. There is, however, a postscript to this story. Renault makes an even faster Clio too. The only problem is, it doesn't have number plates. Okay, peoples. This is the new Clio Cup car. For those that want to go really fast in a hatchback. Now, Silverstone's circuit is rather tight and complicated. This is the Stowe circuit that we're on. And it's a bit of a challenge. Car needs to get some tyre temperature in it, but let's talk you around it, because there's something about front wheel drive racing cars. 220 horsepower, so effectively the same engine as you get in the street car, but this time with a SADEV 6-speed gearbox, which is a thing of quite some joy. I think the main difference to the last Clio racing car I drove is this one doesn't have a servo on the brakes, so you really have to shove the brakes, but you get wicked feel through. It's a right little tonic of a car. I just love these little cars, they're brilliant. Of course, the secret to making a front wheel drive car go quick on the circuit is to make it nervous. It will then have some oversteer, but you can make it turn so much quicker. Dead impressive. Brake pedal is just awesome. And you've got to trail brake the car so aggressively. Steering, well, very quick rack. Very quick rack. But the strange thing is how different it is to the street car in that it's all about the differential. It's all about getting some drive into that diff. And then just using it now, winding it out. The traction is phenomenal. You swear the thing was four-wheel drive. This is a profoundly more professional car than the last Clio race car I drove. Really feels like a little touring car. Got this lovely dashboard ahead of me, cool steering wheel, all the things that the gentleman driver wants. Those little trinkets. No, I like a bit of this. If you want to really drive a hatchback, you need to come drive a Cup car.